It's time for the Raleigh Road Show.
Hey everybody, it's second episode of Raleigh Road Show. We had a great time with our first outing, and we have here tonight with us a great band that I've enjoyed for years now. These guys really bring it to the table. I'd like to introduce to you the Stone Age Romeos. And if we could start down at the end here, and we will introduce yourself and tell everybody what you play and how you play it.
Sure. I go by the handle beat crunk because I have to have a handle in a band like this. And I play drums. I've been with these guys for about 5 years. I'll pass it on.
I'm Arlen. I play guitar.
Man of many words. My
name is John Crusoe. I also play drums with the band whenever we want it to sound really good. No, I've been with the band for about a year and a half, and thoroughly enjoyed myself.
I'm Jeff Castlo. I helped form the band with Jay Raz. I'm going to give him a shout out because without him, me and him would not have this band. About 7 years now, blood, sweat, and tears. Many gigs with about 5 people in the beginning. Our sound man to the side, the master himself, Chris Stevens, who will not be seen on TV, also goes by the name of The Count. He's been here since the second gig. Every other gig other than that one. I'll pass it to Mr. Bedingfield.
Kevin Bid, I guess Kevin Bedingfield is my name, but rhythm guitar and backup vocals. Been with the band for about a year and a half, and just like playing music. Next to you.
Last but not least, my name is John Deneen. I've been with the band around 4 years. I'm the bass player.
So what we like to do here on the Raleigh Road Show first is to ask how the name came about and where did it come from. Stone Age Romeos, it's not your everyday name that you hear. So Jeff, let me hear from that.
Well, contrary to belief, it's not because we're old and we still think we're cool. That's not actually where the name came from. There's a band called the Hoodoo Gurus. They're an 80s alternative band, and they have an album called the Stone Age Romeos, and I always thought it was a cool name. Started a band in Virginia with it, and when I moved here, just kind of brought it along with me.
It has nothing to do with Flintstones, anything like that. So we'll keep it cool. But anyway, so I'd like to also ask each band member here that everybody has their influences, things they enjoy, and types of music they enjoy, things that they would have on their iPod that maybe myself or someone may not expect you to have. So we'll start at this end and let's hear what kind of influences, what kind of music that you like.
Sure. So it's a real wide range. I think for all of us, you'll find real different ranges. And since I've been playing with these guys, I get all kinds of influences just from stuff that they get me to listen to. Like Arlen and John are very schooled. Hear a lot more jazz and that kind of type of stuff. But for me, it's 311, Primus. Grew up with Rush and Guns N' Roses and that kind of stuff, so I always like to smash it a little bit. But these guys get me to hold back and try to refine it a little bit, which has been pretty an awesome experience for me. But the only other song I like to point out sometimes is Michael Jackson, Rock With You. Man, that's a tight song. It's one of my favorite songs.
Great song.
My influences are from bluegrass, Tony Rice, to Alan Holdsworth, to Pat Metheny, Joe Pass.
We're going.
Keith Jarrett on piano. I'm
Fantastic. Yeah.
all kinds of influences. Horn players.
Right, and that's the great thing about being a musician is that you get influences from other things that you may not expect. I mean, movies, all types of popular music, non-popular music, bluegrass, blues, punk. There's just all sorts of influences that people don't realize that as musicians that you get influenced by. So.
That's right.
And you know what?
It takes all those jazz stylings that he learns to play Hot in Here and Jesse's Girl and things like that.
Yes, I will agree with that. And
All right.
Yeah, musically, I grew up playing in my first bar gig was when I was 10 years old, playing in my dad's band. My dad's a bass player, so I grew up playing a lot of 50s and 60s with some of the Elvis stuff, things like that. And then got into CCR and whatnot. And then I got into playing a lot of cocktail music, jazz music, swing, things like that. Did a little tour with a big band in Europe for a while. Did a cruise ship gig and things like that. So I just had a wide range of musical activities and things like that. But right now, I mean, you'll find anything. Mainly on my iPod, you're gonna find what we play because I had to learn the songs. So, you know, it gets to a point where I think it's funny when you start skipping your own songs on your iPod.
all right. Mr. Jeff.
Well, some of you have probably seen pictures in the past on our Facebook page where I had big Bon Jovi hair. So I'm very influenced from heavy metal, hard rock from when I was a teenager, and I'm really not a schooled musician at all. It was really just about getting on stage so people would pay attention to me. And that's pretty much why I started being in the band. Pretty much everybody likes music, but when it comes down to it, they like to be up there and have a good time and entertain people.
I actually grew up singing in church. It's probably my mother sang, and she got me, singing a lot and voice lessons. And my dad was a guitar teacher, so there's a lot of music there in my family. And I always used to get out my dad's old Chuck Berry albums, and a lot of blues as far as what I like. Stevie Ray Vaughan. Anywhere from all the way to Johnny Cash and B.B. King and Robert Johnson. I got into them a lot when I was younger, and can't play like them, but I like them. I like to listen to them anyway. I like to listen to Arlen while I strum along and sing. So I guess the biggest talent would be singing.
I used to grow up, listening to mostly rock, classic rock, Zeppelin, AC/DC, Sabbath, and then when I started playing bass, I started listening to more, Louis Johnson and Graham Central Station, some of the, dance stuff that kind of moves around a little bit more. And now I just country, whatever, everything's got a beat to it, so I usually end up listening to it. Even cartoons, have great bass lines and stuff, music to it.
Yeah, hold it up to the. Go ahead and answer again. Yeah, we'll edit that. That's the magic of film.
There you go.
Magic of film.
I used to listen to all kinds of classic rock, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Hendrix, Deep Purple, and then when I started playing bass, I listened to a lot of more of the soulful music like Louis Johnson and Graham Central Station. And now I pretty much listen to jazz, country, whatever's on the radio or on TV. Starts inspiring me to come up with new ideas and ways to, make myself happy listening to music.
Hey everybody, it's Randy and Wendy with the Raleigh Road Show. Here we are with the Stone Age Romeos, and that is Jeff, both Johns, B. Crunk, and AJ. We'd also like to thank Mr. Alan Stone for letting us come out and film these guys that night. I think that was really sort of a nice thing to do. They were having a fundraiser, and Stone Age Romeos dedicated their time to this, and I just think that was really great. It turned out really nice. The venue was huge. We were in a tent there, as you can see, and it just really made for a great time. What do you think, Wendy?
I agree. This band is awesome. They're a great dance band if you like to dance, or if you just want to come out and sing to some great tunes. They're very personable. Yeah,
I think so too. I mean, they were just really nice. The interview was great. I think you guys get a good idea of who they are and what they do. So enjoy this clip. Again, it just shows you what they do when they're out on the town. Again, this is Raleigh Road Show, Randy, Wendy. Thanks.
Okay, that's good. You go, Paul. Cindy with the Raleigh Road Show. We're hanging out with the Stone Age Romeos tonight, and I'm hanging out with some of the crowd. We're here with Paul and Derek. So how you guys doing tonight?
Hey Wendy, it's a really good time. I can't believe these guys are out here playing in the middle of like Lake Jordan. It's a free concert. Everybody should come out and see these guys. Stone Age Romeos. I've known them for a while. Jeff Costello, the lead singer, used to work with me at Howard Perry and Walston, and good guys, man. And they play really good music. They mix it up. Everybody should come out. If you get a chance to see the Stone Age Romeos in some of the bars they play in Raleigh, get a chance to see them, come out and see them.
Awesome. So Derek, have you seen Stone Age Romeos before?
I have, many times.
What do you think about the band?
They're great. They're a very good band. I like them.
So you guys are having a good time?
Yeah, too good of a time, actually.
Well, we appreciate you coming out. Check out the Raleigh Road Show on RTN 10 or Facebook, and we appreciate you coming out tonight. Thanks a lot.
And of course, you get all sorts of crazy stories. I'll start off with the quick crazy story, and if anyone else has one, you can add on. This is at a local establishment that I'm infamous or famous for going to. We won't mention the name here on public access TV, but there was a band that played. I have a friend and a friend at home who's sitting at home right now. You know who I'm talking about. We know this gal, and she just enjoyed drinking and as much as possible. And there was a band up playing, much like you guys will be doing this evening. So she got really close up, and of course she couldn't hold her balance, and she fell up on the stage. And unfortunately, this gentleman had amputated leg, and so she fell into the leg and pulled it off, and the guy I think he fell off to the side, and it was one of those movie moments that we see that you wouldn't believe unless you actually saw it. So that's one of my crazy stories. Does anyone else have anything that happens as a band that, you know, may or may not involve someone who's had a couple too many to drink, but it could be?
Thank you, son. No, I'll definitely keep names out of it, but it kind of goes back to, you know, we've been doing this, you've been doing it for 7 years, I'm playing 5.5 years with you. And it starts off in the beginning with a lot of just kind of paying your dues is how we kind of said it. And now this is cover music, right? So we don't take ourselves too seriously. We're very serious about what we do. We want it to sound good and all that kind of stuff. But in the beginning, we played a lot of, like you mentioned, small gigs, 5 people. And I'll never forget showing up in Rocky Mount to a place called Zone 64.
Oh, you can't mention the name.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I think it was in business for about
edit that.
It was in business for about a day.
Note to editor.
It's closed.
It was in business for
closed, so okay, well.
But we showed up, and it was 2 trailers with a big sign that said Zone 72 between 2 big oak trees in the front of the thing, and it was like, oh boy. But you know, I think what we learned through all it was just play with it, and if we have fun, eventually it bleeds over, and that's a lot of times what happens with us. If we have fun, it kind of goes out there, and that's really the only formula minus just some song selection and things like that. But
Popping that energy.
yeah, that's right. Have some energy out there. Have fun.
Either one of you guys have a story you'd like to share?
There's all kinds of stories.
I don't want this story.
I don't think you want them.
This is we're trying to get a 10 to 12 o'clock time slot, so keep that in mind.
Not really. There's one story. We were playing Welcome to the Jungle, and this was in Boston, and a fight broke out, and the entire crowd ended up piled up on top of the stage, and the manager came up and blamed us for it and said we could be sued. And so, yeah, I don't know. That was the end of that.
That sounds like an end of the night story there.
That was the beginning of the night. That was like the first
short night then.
First set.
Nothing crazy about this when I drummed on a cruise line. We were in the Gulf of Alaska, and we were hitting some 25 and 30 foot swells. It was a 900-foot ship, so it really wasn't that big as far as cruise lines go. And here we are, we're playing this captain's party. You know, you can imagine for an Alaskan cruise, you're not going to have the youngest of the youngs out there. So you have a lot of walkers and canes and things. So here we are trying to play this captain's party, and people are trying to do the foxtrot and, you know, do the, some of those, yeah, just those silly dances. And they were, you would feel the ship go up, 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 and then it would just drop out from under you. I mean, every time, 2 or 3 people. They go rolling off the floor. And even I was, you know, I felt like I had to strap into my drum. I'm kind of sitting there going up and down, trying to keep a beat. But that was pretty fun. I mean, it was good that no one got hurt, seriously, but it was a lot of fun just to watch the tumble action.
There's 2 actual stories that I think of. First story, a few years ago we were playing a wedding in Wilmington, and most weddings by the end of the night, they end up a little rowdy, but nothing too crazy. This particular wedding, by the end of the night, about 15 of the guys had taken their shirts off and were playing It's Raining Men, and were diving around on the floor and sliding, and it was very interesting. They were throwing beer all over each other. It was very fun. And there was another wedding, one of the first ones we ever did, and there was a band member at the time who he would go around at the end of the night and drink the excess wine that had been in the glasses and eat some extra cake that someone else had already eaten part of, and he ate some of that cake. I won't mention any names.
Awesome. Any other good story?
I'm a straight-laced guy, so I don't really have any wild stories at all.
Okay, pass it on.
No, actually, I thought you stole my story that I was thinking about, but we did a wedding last year where when we were packing up and getting out, you know, the whole wedding party ended up in their underwear and their drawers, and there was one guy, you know, jumping off the top of the roof into the pool, and you know, which he really got in trouble for because whoever owned the building, but it's something I've really never seen before for a wedding party. I've seen people get pushed in the pool, but everybody's stripping down to almost nothing and jumping in the pool and chanting at us to, like, you know, we're like, no, we got to drive home. We're not getting in the pool. So it was that's real.
I thought about it.
I tell you, it's a lot of fun going out on the road, getting on trips, you know, stopping places. There's all kinds of things, but you know, I don't want to incriminate myself. We met a lot of good people, had a lot of great times, and I'll leave it at that.
So the last thing I wanted to talk to these guys about, which is sort of a recurring theme on the show. There's a lot of sacrifice and things that go on with being in a band. You know, there's the great song by Paisley and Irvin, you know, start a band. Yeah, that's the start of the band. Now, when you get into it and then years later, you know, there's a lot of things that go on with sacrifice, that sort of thing. I mean, you know, you have family, friends, things that go on that you have to miss in order to make things happen for the band. And I just like to this is our last sort of issue and topic here, but we can start at this end and just talk about the sacrifice that goes in. And you know, there's also a good side of that, because you know, there's a give and take that you get through music and having a crowd, and there's a great sort of euphoria and high that a lot of people in bands feel, and that's part of the reason that they come out and do this all the time. So if you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, I think you hit right on it. For all of us, it's definitely a musical release, the ability to get out there, even though we may be playing some stuff at times that we don't necessarily drive down the road listening to. It's still a musical release, and you take your opportunities inside that music to have a little fun with it and experiment and kind of do whatever you can do. But yeah, it's certainly taken time. I think right down from gigs with small numbers of people and get used to having fun with each other. We've had a lot of different people come in and through this band, and it all really makes us. We're just playing Raleigh cover in the Raleigh Southeast kind of area. But man, it makes you look at bands like Aerosmith and Red Hot Chili Peppers, bands that have been together 20, 25 years, and imagine just you're getting a little inkling. Imagine what it'd be like with everything, you know, multiplied by 25 or something. But yeah, it's been a really fun experience for us. We enjoy the most going out there and having fun with people, and just getting that back has been a hell of a payback. It's been good.
The amount of practice time that you go through to acquire the talent or the skill that you have to go through with what we do is unfathomable.
Look at him get all big.
That's an SAT word there. I don't know if we allow those sort of words on the Raleigh Road Show.
That means you can't
But we will.
understand it, Brett. Here you go.
I don't want to make it sound like the band you have to make all these sacrifices. I mean, there are certainly sacrifices with respect to time and things like that, and sometimes it can strain relationships inside and outside of the band and things like that. But you learn how to deal with it and how to move on from it, how to work within it. That's one thing B. Crunk and I we have a really good system here. With having two drummers, we can switch off if we really need something. But there is a heavy amount of practice time, and let's face it, all of us are a bit narcissistic. I mean, we love the attention, love being up on stage. And it is musical release, but it's also great to put a product out there. And when people are dancing and jumping and getting down to not your music, but the music that you're playing, that's a really good feeling. It's hard to beat. It's a legal drug, in my opinion.
That is the truth. It is quite a sacrifice, even to be in a cover band, the amount of time that you do put in. Most of us in the band have children or are married or have been married, and as John said, it does put a strain on your relationship. You have to have a very understanding partner, that's for sure, to deal with what you go through on a weekly basis, the time, whether it be practicing songs at home or if you're practicing at our practice space with B. Crunk's house, or playing gigs. Sometimes on a wedding, we may leave at 11 o'clock in the morning and we may not get home till 11 o'clock that night, and we haven't even left the Raleigh area for that. So it does take a lot of time, but it's something I've tried to quit many times in my life, but it kind of brings you back in. That's right. I love playing. I love it. It's something that I plan to do as long as I can.
Pretty much what you said is just hitting the nail on the head. And as far as sacrifice for your kids and wives and relationships is probably more so than the sacrifice than we think as far as practice and playing, because for us it's fun, it's what we like to do, and it's more of a sacrifice to them, I think, sometimes than us. So I think that's just something that gets not recognized sometimes.
I just think I'm truly lucky. I mean, I love playing music. I don't know what I would do without it. I think it's like one of my true callings, but I'm also very fortunate to have a partner that's very understanding and helps out, ties loose ends around the house when I'm not there, and entertaining the kids and make them happy, which makes everybody happy. So a lot of times, if you plan ahead, you can, we do have that week off to make sure we make the most out of it. Everything kind of ends up working out.
Well,
amen, brother.
There's always plus and minuses to things, but I think obviously that's why I'm out here interviewing local bands. That's why you guys do what you do, because we enjoy the time and doing this for people and bringing this to the public. I would like to thank the Stone Age Romeos for allowing me to do this interview. It's been great. Since the first day I've seen you guys, there's a lot of energy. It's a great show, and I would ask that anyone who's watching this tonight, you come out and support these guys. Again, we're the Raleigh Road Show. We do ask that you go out and support your local music and musicians, and watch the Raleigh Road Show so that together we can help to keep local bands and musicians show on the road. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you, Randy.
Appreciate it.
Time for a whiskey.
Hey everybody, it's Randy and Wendy again, coming back to you, checking out Mr. Jeff putting his dance moves out there, Danny Terrio, Dance Fever for all you people that grew up in the late 70s, early 80s. He really did a great job with putting his moves out there that night. But I think that they may be playing Prince Kiss or Big and Rich here, which is, you know, pretty wide variety of music that comes up, and you know, just something that most of the bands don't try and cover or don't try to do out there. You know, it's great to go out and just have a good time with these guys. You know, we enjoyed interviewing them, and they really were personable. I think Wendy has. What do you think, Wendy? They were really nice to you when you were applying makeup to them that night.
Yeah, these guys are great. They're definitely worth checking out. They've been together for a long time. They're talented musicians. They interact with the crowd a lot. They make it a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think if you see Jeff and these guys out on the town, don't be shy. Go up and say you saw them on the Raleigh Road Show. I think they'd really appreciate that. These guys are one of the first bands we interviewed for the show, so you know, that really means a lot to me that that they took the time out to do that. But I can say my favorite song that they do is Under Pressure, sung by Freddie Mercury and David Bowie. Great song. Check them out. It's the Raleigh Road Show.